Hi, I'm Robin Norton from Grass Business Development. Thank you for joining us for this video on the future of food. So we're just hoping to talk you through a few things that are happening in the world of food at the moment, technologies that are beginning to be adopted through food supply. The objective of this is just to share some insights into the dance between technology and our food, and particularly things that we think will have an impact over the next 10 years or into 2030. So we're asking really, how will technology change how we eat and how we shop? And obviously technology has been there throughout human existence. Things like the adoption of tools, it's part of human development that we're looking for technology to make our lives easier. So what do consumers think about technology? 75% of Britons say they couldn't live without the internet, but 2/3 of daily social media users often feel lonely. So technology is a double-edged sword. 59% of Britons think robots will have or will develop higher intelligence than humans. So some people obviously think that's a good thing. Some people think that is not a good thing. And within those extremes, 22% of us are all-round optimists, believing technology is basically a force for good. But 21% of us are what are called excluded pessimists, people who find it impossible to keep up with the pace of change, and they've kind of given up on the idea that technology can help them in their lives. So first of all, some eating themes. Look at things here like old technology, ultra convenience, wellness, smart cooking, our visual culture, and how technology can help us with waste. What we've actually seen over recent years is a dramatic growth in sales of bowls versus plates, and also growth of just using a fork to eat rather than using a knife and fork in a traditional full place setting. We're seeing a lot more finger food in the world and informal eating, but also the fork is really the dominant piece of cutlery now in most households and at most eating occasions. Alongside that, in terms of convenience, we've got products like Huel that offer a very innovative, very convenient, simple proposition. So many ways in which Huel has been developed to tackle different niche groups. So whether you're dieting, whether you're looking for high protein intake, whether you're vegan, whether you're just busy, whether you can't be bothered cooking and shopping, Huel answers all those kind of challenges for you. And even businesses like Nestle that are very traditional, fast-moving consumer goods company, they're doing things like tapping into people's DNA and then offering products that are specifically tailored to your DNA profile as part of helping people achieve their wellness and well-being goals. And then in later life, there's a growing awareness of conditions like dysphagia, which is this difficulty swallowing. Businesses like Appetito have extensive menus of food that are easier to digest, particularly for older people. So it looks like a pureed food product, but in this instance, it's shaped to make it look like a traditional meal. So you get the satisfaction of the visual, whilst it's still something you're able to eat if you have this condition. And things like smart ovens are another innovation that have yet to make it into most households, but we believe they're on the way in terms of the Internet of Things. This example here is an oven that can be controlled remotely, and it's a form of combi oven. So it can basically defrost products, cook products, microwave them, grill them, a huge range of different methods in which it can prepare food for you, and it can do it recognizing the food that's been put in it, and it can do it remotely over a smartphone. The transparency in our food production is another key thing. So this guy on the left is actually Farmer Tom. He's a fairly famous farmer who started streaming into schools on a regular basis and started a whole national campaign to encourage primary schools to take 10 minutes out of a farmer's week just to learn about what's actually happening in the food chain. And on the right-hand side is actually Waitrose's Cow Cam that they pioneered a few years ago that, again, shows that transparency in agriculture. And Waitrose still talking about their agricultural credentials, the British sourcing, and trying to show the transparency they're using in their business through technology. And it's not just what we eat, it's what we don't eat. So in terms of waste not, want not, this is actually a picture of an anaerobic digestion plant, if you've never seen one of those before. But if you see one of these domes springing up near you, there's a chance that that's what it is. So turning food waste into energy. Now, this app is called Olio. This is something that connects neighbours with local shops. So when your local store has marked an item down, you can potentially see that without leaving the comfort of your own home. So you can see if there's a good deal to be had, and it gives you a reason to visit that store, and it saves that food from entering the bin. And then in terms of preparation of food, so moving away slightly from the waste side of things, this interesting innovation is a way of actually, rather than maintaining a large stock of finished foodstuffs, this is a robot here, the DK1, that actually assembles food on demand. So Hester Blumenthal is involved in this, and a DK1 kitchen that has been opened. So he's worked on that, but also Ocado are planning to use these robots to assemble meals in their depots. So they can basically not carry an inventory of finished product, but they can finish products on the hoof. This is actually a robot waiter, so very relevant to the current pandemic. So, avoiding that human contact by using technology to deliver food from a kitchen to a table. So that was all the how we eat themes. Another section now here on shopping themes. So things to think about here, things like robot staff. So like we've seen the robot waiter there, click and collect, paying anywhere, seamless consumption. So we've seen that with things like Amazon Go, how technology can impact food to go, and then also a bit of a question around Big Brother. So still in the food service world, aside from kind of ordering your food from the waiter, how it's actually prepared in food service is clearly something that is also affected by robotics. Looking at this example, this is a robot called Flippy in the States, a restaurant called Cali Burger, where it basically tends the grill. This is Walmart, and you may have seen this previously, but they have a robot that they're piloting in the States that actually cruises the aisles and scans the aisles looking for out of stock. So to finish that final 30 yards of the journey to shelf, and making sure that the staff know that items need to be replenished. Similarly, at the bottom right there's a fixed camera that's doing the same job. So high traffic parts of the store may have a camera trained on them permanently looking for out of stocks. And this example, obviously, in terms of how we shop is Ocado. These robots clearly picking and packing without the need for human intervention at all. And again, something that's been very attractive during the pandemic. Walmart, in recent weeks, they've announced a lot of their future plans and their continued heavy investment in online. But one of the major manifestations of online for Walmart is in pickup. So they're kind of going down the French market route rather than the British market route, where they're going for click and collect rather than delivery to consumers' homes. Although Walmart are obviously offering that as well. But this has been one of their really big investments. So whether it's a drive-through or pickup in store, they're really trying to leverage all their capabilities in their store estate versus the likes of Amazon. So whilst Amazon are infilling between their biggest depots in the States and around the world with smaller depots, Walmart are trying to use all of their stores as part of a network that allows them to compete. And then mobile commerce is clearly an area that is earmarked for massive growth. So again, a lot of retailers and food service businesses are looking to mobile commerce as a way to navigate through the pandemic and beyond. Another example from Walmart is when they were running Black Fridays in a pre-socially distanced world. To deal with the chaos at the tills, they did actually have mobile checkouts. So see people with these yellow sashes around the store and Wi-Fi enabled devices that would allow them to take payments from shoppers anywhere in the store, hopefully avoiding some of the fights over massive televisions. And then Amazon Go, obviously, not new technology, but it is being worked on by Amazon, and they have different store formats in the pipeline as well. But this one was the first and is the most technologically advanced. So basically, a completely frictionless experience. So many of us now used to using self-serve checkouts, and obviously this takes it a level above that experience where you basically, the technology is identifying what you bought, and your phone automatically pays on your way out of the store. Another food service example here, Take In, which was a pop-up restaurant in Helsinki in 2017. And with the move to delivery services, this operator spotted a niche to allow people to have food delivered from a variety of operators to one place. So people could eat socially, but they could all order from their favorite restaurant separately, independently, and have that arrive at this venue. So it kind of recognizes the downsides of delivery and tries to put a positive spin on that culture. And then Delivery themselves launched a 40-seat take-in space in Singapore. So there's dark kitchens behind this unit, but their customers could order and have food delivered to them through hatches in the back of this restaurant. And this is another example from Asia. Taobao used a live streaming service, and the Italian chef pictured there in the middle, to create an online farmers market for kumquats. And this is at a point in the harvest of kumquats where they had a massive glut of them, and they found a way to create a market for the farmers that were faced with trying to sell these products by actually using social media, and create a huge amount of interest in China that then drove sales of the products themselves. So everyone kind of won in that instance. The farmers found a route to market, and Taobao sold extra products through to consumers as a result of it. And then finally, the kind of privacy thing. There's clearly facial recognition was something that has been talked about in the UK. Tesco, controversially, were planning to install this technology into forecourt stores with the intention of recognising shoppers and tailoring marketing messages to them. That fell foul of British media and British shopper sentiment, and that plan was pulled. But on the bottom right there, something that has gone ahead is McDonald's buying into an artificial intelligence business that will actually target individual cars at drive-throughs with specific marketing messages depending on whose vehicle it is, what the time of day is, and who else might be in the vehicle. So in other words, if you are picking up a coffee in the morning, it may well offer you food based on your profile and what it knows you bought before. If you're driving through in an evening, possibly with kids in the car, it may recognize that and be offering you McFlurries and tailored products as a result of that, particularly if it knows the weather's warm, for example. So very sophisticated technology. And we've all seen electric delivery vehicles, whether they're driven by a person or automatic. This is one of the largest automatic vehicles that's been in use in the States by Kroger. And this can carry several caddies of shopping in it and actually use those to deliver to people's homes. So quite a sophisticated technology. More on the ground in the UK, Starship Technologies working with the co-op and aggregators in terms of food service to deliver individual orders through these smaller pedestrianised robots. And then another option for how things are changing in the way we shop is actually to have the freshest produce possible. So Waitrose are planning to grow products in aeroponic cylinders that actually get transferred to the local store. So whilst Ocado are planning to kind of grow vertically beside their depots, Waitrose are potentially going to be taking growing plants into the stores and effectively selling them and harvesting them in the store as fresh as you could get. So, what's the future of our food? We believe food will still be recognizable in the future, but it'll be even more traceable and even more visible. So we potentially will have that transparency where we can see where the food is coming from quite literally. Sometimes it may even be being grown in the stores that we're visiting. We also think food will be bigger and greener. It's all very well to think of food as being, ideally locally produced and coming from our doorsteps, but actually the most efficient food production can often be the biggest food production. And the challenge with all that is making that green. So there will be a lot more scope to have big food production, but to have it be more environmentally friendly. And to a degree, it will be localized with things like local delivery, local finishing of products. Food, we think, will be smarter and healthier. So the understanding of genetics, understanding of nutrition and diet, and the ability to grow products that are better for us and market them in ways that encourage us to adopt those habits all seems likely to continue. And we're likely to only really be limited by our imagination in terms of how things will develop. There's so much changing technology out there now. We believe that there's going to be fewer limits on what we can do in the future based on the amount of technology that's out there. So we asked one of our audiences for this presentation which parts of the food chain they thought would see the most change. And actually what was quite interesting was the way in which people did expect quite a significant level of change. So before we showed them these slides, people felt on the whole 87% of them that we would see differences in the way we eat over the next 10 years. Only 13% said we'd eat just the same as now. A third of the people, this was a very senior audience of food industry managers and directors and business owners, 33% of them thought we'd see some very significant changes. 53% of them thought things would be quite different. When we showed them these slides, actually, a lot of people kind of came down from the most extreme views there to think things would be quite different. So I think it was interesting the level of technology that was out there, but I think people felt we'd still be pretty much eating the same as we are now, just with some slight nuances on it. And then in terms of shopping behaviour, there was actually a radical shift in the other direction. So again, a third of people thought we'd shop very differently. 53% of people thought we'd shop quite differently, but in the end, 92% of people thought we would shop, very much differently than we are at the moment. So 54% very differently, 38% quite differently. So the very big swing there, driven by, I think, some of the technological solutions that were appearing in terms of that final execution in store or to people's homes, the growing of produce very, very locally to stores, or the shipping of live produce to those stores. So you can see why people's perceptions may have changed to think things actually will be quite different in terms of the shopping experience. We still need to eat the same kind of food, but we can buy it in different ways. And I do think the pandemic has kind of borne that out. So thank you very much for your time listening to this. Hope it's been interesting and useful. There is a PDF of all the links to those images and articles based upon them. So if you want to do more work on this future of food agenda, you're very welcome to do that. The link to that will be in the video notes underneath. All right. Thanks very much. Bye.